Morning, everyone. Hope you're all okay, all well, and looking forward to today's dem, which is on pirates. I was going to go ooh-ah on the little blurb form before, but I didn't know how to spell it, so I just put what I put now, but yeah, so I'm spelling rubbish anyway, but ooh-ah was a bit beyond me. So yeah, today is pirates. We've been requested to show this one, and I'm going to get straight in. It's a nice relaxed, loads of painting today. So this is the set that I'm going to use. So in this you get 2 pirates. Shiver Me Timbers, that's what I put on, wasn't it? Shiver Me Timbers, I could spell that. Right, 2 pirates, and then you've got a ship, a pirate ship, and a treasure chest, and a piece of foliage. So you can get that little bit out of there, a little bit stuck. You can see I've been doing prep, and I've got a little bit of, that's it. Great. Yeah, so that's the foliage, and then you get 2 little side plaques. So you can, I'll show you after, but you can cut them out and paint them. You can put them on top of cookies if you wanted to pirate cookies. It's up to you. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to cut them all out first, and then they can be sort of firming up a little bit before I do any painting. So I'm using the usual flour paste. So this is the Renshaw flour paste. You can use the sugar paste. I always say, you know, the Sugar and Crumbs sugar paste. It's lovely, and with some Tylo added to it, it works really well with patchwork cutters. And because this isn't really freestanding, the pieces aren't freestanding, then the sugar paste is fine. So yeah, I would go with that. Right, so I still put the Trex on here. And the other week I was doing, you know, the cling film over it, cutting out. And I found that with open cutters that works really well. But something like this, which is the treasure chest, can't say it properly, treasure chest. Because it's so detailed, it doesn't really cut through the cling film very well. So I'm still doing my usual way. So I've got Trex on the board. I'm going to roll out this. You've noticed from our on our page that we've now got the new coffee mornings and demonstration days out. So that's just put your finger through that. Just move these out a little bit. All right, we've got the camera in. Yeah, so we've got the new dates out. So if you're interested in coming, I would book early, because already, especially the demonstration day, well, and the coffee mornings, they're selling really well. So it's up to you. Don't leave it too long, because we are, you know, numbers are important. Right, so I'm going to start off. I'm using either white paste, or I'm going to use like a skin tone. So put Trex on the cutter, and then I'm going to press firmly on that. So if I do it that way, you'll probably see it better. Okay, I'm going round the outside, then lightly in the middle, because I just want to emboss that pattern on. I don't want it to cut through. Wayne, come on over. Yeah, it is a bit far, especially a week before Christmas. All right, that's quite pale, lightly embossed there. I'm just going to do that a little heavily. Oh, I wish you could, Wayne. It'd be lovely to meet you. Maybe one day, hey. Just press on the, that's it, that's fine. Right, so now this is quite a sort of a detailed all around here. So I just need to pick this out. And I might just use my little craft knife, which I've got here, just for any little fiddly bits like that. Probably lose that. I don't even know if that's supposed to be part of it, but anyway, yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I know we're up north here, and but Tina, Charlie, I've noticed you're booked. They come to everyone, and that's a fair distance, isn't it, where you're coming from? So I'm just going to get rid of all this out the way. So yeah, it'd be lovely to see you all. And we've got Dawn from Dinky Doodle. She's absolutely, if you've never seen Dawn in a demonstration, you'll be in for a treat because she's so funny. Right, so I'm just pulling all this away. As are all our other demonstrations, I have to say. Okay, so just taking a little bit of time here. I don't want it to stretch. I could pull it, but I don't want it to stretch totally out of shape. Just got to make sure I'm not cutting the sail off. Okay, let's tidy that up a little bit there. And a little bit there. Try not to cut my finger. Oh well. Will anybody notice that bit? I cut that bit off. Never mind. It's all right. No big shake. You can always add another one, whatever it was, later. Okay. So I'm going to just cut through there. I'm going to remove the flags because when you have taken that middle bit out from the flags, and then you try and lift it, the flags are going to flop about all over the place. I'd say this is the most detailed one. That's why it's taking a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm just going to take that little flag from there. And then I'll cut this one around like so. As I say, normally you don't have to do this with patchwork cutters. It's just a case of lifting, you know, the paste away or the cutter away, but it is quite detailed, this. Right, we'll leave that like that. Make sure I have got all the right pieces. So that's my other little flag with the tiny little piratey thing on. Technical terms, piratey thing. I'm going to lift that onto a dusting board. So I'm just going to use these for dusting today. You could obviously have a piece of cardboard in a bag with a sheet of plastic over it so that you can do your dusting on that. I like to dust on plastic, you see, or something that the Trexie cutter or the Trexie piece of icing will stick to when I'm colouring it later. I don't want it on paper, which is going to be moving about. So any tidying up, do that. And then I'll just leave that to one side just to firm up a bit before I paint it. Okay, make sure everything that should be straight is straight. Right, so that's the boat. So I'll put that to one side. Now the other one I'm going to cut out is using this. Now I've used some of the iced ginger, I think it was, on this. So we have a sort of a weather-beaten looking pirate. They're not going to be pristine, are they? They're going to be a little mucky looking. Okay, so a little bit of Trex on here. And then just roll. Roll, don't lift, remember. You don't want to be lifting all your pieces up and down. So roll nice and thin. Okay, and then I'll take this pirate to begin with. Now, plenty of Trex on the small pieces, like the little dagger that you've got there. So anything small. I mean, because it's actually going to be placed on a cake, it's not going to be freestanding. If you lose anything like an arm or a leg or a knife or something like that, it doesn't matter because you can just stick it back on. Just keep hold of it, and then when you've got your figure in place on your plaque or your cake, then you just attach it as a separate piece as you would a jigsaw. I'm just going to give that a little press there, give it a little flick. Whoop. So you can see the figure there. Then use your cocktail stick just to pull away the pieces. We'll just go round there, hang on to that little handle. Just put your finger on it as you pull the paste away from around the outside edge. And just get rid of that from there, out the way. And then we'll go, now that bit there, I'm just going to use my knife, as it is very narrow. Pull. Now this little knife, again, just to make it a bit easier, just go around with that. So just hold on to the bits that you need. Go around his hand there. Okay. Cool. Now, I'm not actually on this going to put extra layers. You could put, because the trousers would be on top of the torso, then you could put an extra layer of trousers, but then you'd need extra shoes. And so I'm just doing an absolute, on this one, on the men, I'm just doing one layer and I'll just paint up from there. As I said before, if you do get any rough edges, there's a couple there, just have a little bit of Trex on your brush and then just rub that round like that, and that will just tidy up any little rough edges that you might have. Right, so I'm going to put that onto a board. I'll put it onto this one. That'll be ready to paint. So, knife underneath. Oh, move that. Knife underneath, just lift it. As you lift it, slide your knife under. So it's a fine knife, fine bladed knife. No, just a little bit of there. Okay, so put him away. Where is he? There he is. Put him in there. So the other pirate, again, I'm going to do it in this dark colour because I can paint over this as well. So the face on both of them will just stay the same, this colour. So roll this out nice and thin. Hope I've got enough paste, should I? That's it. Okay, roll, don't lift. Make sure it's stuck down on that little bit of Trex. And then plenty of Trex on the figure, especially this gun there. And that little bit of, is it a cutlass? I'll have to look it up. Right. I'm loving today. It's a bit cooler, isn't it? I'm just absolutely no good in heat. Right, so we'll press round there, over the gun, round the cutting edge, over the middle bit, so we know where to paint. Give a flick, and then with your cocktail stick, where do I put that? Right, so I'm going to go round here first of all. I'm going to take that away. Just pull as much away as you can. I'm going to use my craft knife on that little bit there. Okay. And that bit there. So that's very narrow, isn't it? Just down the side of his boot. get that away from the sword. And this little bit here. Again, just hold on to those shoes as you go round. And then I'm going to take that paste from there. So I'm just cutting this off in sections just to remove most of that paste. And then this bit here, which again is very detailed, very narrow, just use your knife, and it is easy to cut out because it's stuck down. If it was on corn flour, you'd be chasing it all over the place. So because it's on the Trex, it is really easy to go round. Let's just get rid of that bit there, that bit there, and that bit from there. Right, okay, so, oh, there's a piece there as well. I'll use my knife on that bit. So it's easy to follow. Quite often that little glove can come off there. But as I say, just hold on to them, and then if that happens, you can just attach it back when it's on the cake or plaque. Right, so I'm going to put my knife underneath there, so just slide it through, peel it like a skin, and place it onto your, just move him around a bit because I need that gun to be there. Okay, so yeah, as long as you've got a very fine knife, and just slide it underneath, peel it like a skin, don't pull it upward, peel it like a skin, then it'll come off in one piece. So we've got our pirates now, so we put those two dry. Where can I put that? Put it over there. No, put it there. Oh, just squashed his foot. Right, so what's next? Put that pirate away. Oh, I'll do the treasure chest. Now this one, I do add extra layers because you want it to look as though it's full of treasure, and also there's a deeper lid on there. So just going to go round with this one. I'm still doing it in this colour because it's mainly brown, so that will paint up nicely. Roll over that. Again, you want it to stick down onto your board. Trex up. This looks nice on cookies. We haven't got the shaped cookie cutter for this. We have got more in the pipeline anyway, guys. There'll be new ones coming out soon. But yeah, this one, it could go on a round. It's not a huge one, so you could sort of put it on a sandy yellow background and make cookies with that. So I'm just going to use this knife just to go around. Use my craft knife, but I'm just going around that bit there, just to make sure. I'm not too bothered about that bit because I'm going to put an extra layer on, so I'll just cut around that for now. Right. Okay, so again, if it's a little bit jagged, just go around with your little Trexie brush. I'll pop that on here. This is I like these for dusting on as well. This is my little PME scraper. Right, just tidy that up there a bit. Okay, so the next layer I'm going to put on, It's going to be part of the lid, so it's that top bit there, the little lock that's on there, and then the treasure that's inside. Okay, so roll that out. Again, I'll just move that up a little bit, so roll that out. Oh, that happens sometimes. Oh, don't know if I put Trex underneath it to hold it down, but no problem. Just roll it out again. Okay, Trex on there. Over that. Press and press. Okay. So I might actually do some of that in white, and haven't made my mind up yet about that. So it's just this lid that I'm after. So I only want that bit across the top. I mean, you don't have to do this, it depends just how much you want to put into it, but I'll take that down there and across the top like so, and then there's a little lock here, and that will be painted gold. So we'll just remove, you can hear tapping in the background. They've got workmen outside, so if you do, that's what it is. So a little water on there where I'm going to put that bit. And I might just take that lock off because I'm going to paint all this brown, so I'll just keep the lock to one side, like so. And then, did I put water? I can't remember if I put water on there, gone into a autopilot. Right, so that will give my extra layer, so it looks as though the edge is on there. Right, okay, so you can see that's given the sort of effect of the open lid. And then I will cut out the treasure inside, but I'm going to leave my paste slightly thicker because I want it to be, you know, quite the definition there, quite noticeable. So that's a bit thicker than I would normally leave it. Trex up again, press over. Now another request is for the vintage car, which I won't be doing today, but it's the same principle. I will do it, but not today. It's the same principle where you are just looking at background, foreground, seeing what comes into the foreground there. Just cut around that little knife handle. Yeah, it's a nice one to do, the vintage car. Nice for wedding cookies as well, that one. Oh, come on, never mind. Okay, so go around there, down to there, around there. It's just so when I paint it, it'll have a little bit more texture to it. Right, so we've got the right, I'm going to put that to one side along with the lock. Put that over there for now because I'm going to be painting a lot of that brown, so then it's harder to paint all the gold and the reds on once it's you've got a brown background. So I've got my lid on there. I've got my other pieces just waiting to go on, so that's fine. And then the other bit, the last piece to cut out, put that to one side, is the tree, the top of the tree. Now, when you saw me do the dinosaurs the other week, same thing. I'm going to cut them out, but this time, instead of attaching like half pieces, I will be doing some half pieces, but I'm actually going to do some flat and then some dried folded, so that it's easier. I'll cut a couple of these out. Ooh. Keep catching it this morning, don't I? That's because I'm rolling right off the end, and then that tends to lift. So if you don't roll right to the end, you won't get that lift. Or you shouldn't do. Right, so Trex up. Pop that on there, press over. Right, nice and firm. Give a flick. I'll do another one down here. So over there, like so. And then just get your stick and pull that away. Now if you lose any of these little frond things, it doesn't matter. You're not going to notice, but just have your cocktail stick ready to just pull all that away. If you're a perfectionist, then you will sit very carefully and pull every single one of these out. But I just like to get it on quite quickly, so I just chopping around that. I'll put that on there on a light background. I just want that to go on there ready for dusting. And then this one the same. So this is all the cutting out done. Unless, you know, if you're going to put these on the side of a cake and you're going to have the sort of scene that I'm going to show you repeated around the side, then obviously you're going to cut more foliage and pirates and everything out. Right, let's go onto there. Now I've got some already dried, but what I do with this, I'm going to dust them first. So that's everything cut out. I'll go over these later. I'll tell you about those later. Right. So starting on these then, just going to do all the colouring now. This is the fun bit. This is the nice bit. So I've got I've got all my colours out in a big. Let me get all this white paste back in here because it does dry very quickly. So I'm going to bring my colours over. So as you can see here, I'll just quickly go over those. So I've got browns and mustard and burnt orange and that. I've got blue for sky, yellow for sand. So yes, I've got lots on there. Right, so I'm going to, that's where I'm doing this. This might be better this side. You hear a clunk and a I think it'd be more than a if I drop it, but anyway. Right, so let's get rid of these first of all. So I want a dark green first in the centre. So I'm just literally popping that on. Okay. And then I'm going to go over with my frosted leaf, which gives that nice light sheen to it. Like so. And then, and I do need one of these flat. But what you can do is cut some in half and dry them in separate halves to add later. Or you can just dry them over a piece of sponge. So I've got some here that I've already dried. Only this morning I put them in the oven for about 10 minutes and they soon dry. So I put them on there pattern side down so that when they're dry, they're ready to pop onto the side. I'll show you those after. So I'll leave that one like that. And then, as I say, some of them you can cut in half, so you've got the final bit to add. You can, if some break, just separate them all down to separate fronds. You can add those as well. Don't waste anything. So I'll just put that there, and I'll put that one. I'll put that one there as well. Okay, so I'll leave it like that. Put those over there. So they won't be dry enough to use now, but let's get rid of that. Okay. So for the boat then, the ship, I'm just going to paint over using the brown dust colour, isopropyl alcohol. Bring the brown in. I'm just going to do a thin wash first of all, so you can see, hopefully you can see that. I'm just going over all that boaty bit. I thought it was the funniest thing ever when they were asked about putting a name for the boat. I think everyone voted for something McBoatface, wasn't it? The naming of this boat. I thought, oh, it was so funny. Still makes me chuckle. Right, so just getting all these little bits in first of all. And don't worry about if it goes a bit patchy. It adds to it, you know. In my mind it does anyway, that's my excuse. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the flags. You could do those in black if you wanted to. Put a little bit more colour in there. I'm going to carry on with the rest of it. I'll go back to this bit in a moment. So, smaller brush. Let's see. This is a very fine brush. It is. They're all pure 30 pure sable one. Right. So I'm going to just paint in the little bits on here, like so. And I think there's a little bit there. Okay. Then I've got silver here, light silver, and I'm going to brush over that. Don't know if that's pink on there, but we'll give it a go. Might have pink sails, but that would be nice, wouldn't it? So I'm just going over the sails with a little bit of the silver. That's the white, but you know, after a voyage of 6 months at sea, they're not going to be so white, are they? So you can get a bit of brown as well on there if you wanted. Now I can see I've missed a couple of bits, so I'll just go back, and with my brown, I think that bit there should be brown and that bit there should be brown. Okay, now rather than cut the sails out where you've got sort of space in between, if I just turn that around so you can see, this part here should be empty really, shouldn't it? Because the sails wouldn't be joined in the middle by anything. But if you paint that in blue, it's going to match the sky that we've done, which I'll show you in a minute about the sky and everything. And so this will just look as though it's on the against the sky. So all that little bit there, you paint in blue between the sails. Okay, and this bit down here, and probably this bit here. So just look at it and see, right, what would be open to the sky. Right, so that's that, and then I'm going to get a dry brush with a little bit of brown. Now I've put alcohol in the lid, so I can't use that, so I'm just going to have another little board over there, and then I'm just bringing the dry dust in from each side. So if I just turn that so that you can see it a bit better. Okay, so that's at each side there. Not bothered about the bottom because that's going to see on it, but that just starts to bring a little bit of interest on there. Right, so then little portholes. Are they called portholes? Or am I on a train? I don't get out much. Right. Oh yeah, it's not on a train, is it? Oh dear. Right. I'm just running my brush now around. So it's a fine brush in the brown. I'm just running that along just to outline things on there. Okay, so you see we've got our little bit on there. The flags, I'm sure they mean something. I know there's the Jolly Roger and that's fine. But the other one I'm just going to do like a lime green. I'm not sure what that means, but hey, that's fine. And then the black, I'm going to paint it with the gel food colouring. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my board there. And if you think it's a little bit thick, then you can just add a little bit of alcohol to it, but just paint around that if you can see it. Is that called the Jolly Roger? I should do my homework before I do damage, shouldn't I? I should ask the kids, they know. Although they know more about superheroes, I think, but anyway. I'll leave it like that, you get the gist. I need to be in a stronger light with my reading glasses on. I think I've painted over it. It looks like a witch now, or a ghost. But anyway, we've got the gist of it. So that's the ship done. So we'll put that to one side. Now I'll bring like this one back in now. Do you know what I've done? I've gathered up my bits off the, you know, the ones I cut out for the extra layers. Aren't I silly? No, never mind. Never mind. It should have extra layers of what do you call it? What do you call it? Treasure. Oh, got mental blanks today. Right, so I'm just brushing this on dry to begin with. So again, I've got liquid in my lid, so I'm just putting it onto my board over there. So I'm just going round that. Okay, so I'm not going to stop and cut out another lot. I'll just paint what I've got, but I have got one on the cake, and I'll show you that later when it's got what it looks like with a double layer of the treasure. That's the word. Right. It threw me then when I couldn't find them. I had a little bit of a moment. Right, so then I'm going to paint in around the edge here, just to take in that pattern around there with a finer brush. Okay. Around the edge of that, across the top. Do a bit of shading on there. And then we'll do the gold. So I'm using a yellow gold. Let me move these out of the way. Again, whichever brand you use, that's fine, but it's a yellow gold. And this is a lock. So this would be the extra layer, the little bit that I've now scrunched up and put back in my under wraps. And so then you can just choose, well, okay, this, I'm going to put this as gold coming out of the out of the treasure chest. There's a little pattern on the side if you want to put that in gold, although that would be rather flamboyant for a treasure chest, wouldn't it? Maybe a bronze would be better. Okay, so then we'll put some red for rubies. We'll just get a bit of red in here. And then some emeralds, so we'll get a bit of bright green. It's the overall effect, isn't it? You're not going to start saying. Where's the emeralds on that? Right, and then silver. So I'll just add a touch of alcohol to the silver and we'll paint that in. So I think that's a mirror, so we'll do that in silver. And there was a little cutlass thing there, so we'll do that in silver. And you can have a few silver coins in there as well, just dab it round. But when you do that extra layer, it does raise it up a little bit, you know. Right, and then there's 3 little dots there, so that's the inside of the box there. And there's a little something there for your nails, but that gives you, you know, it's just an idea of the treasure that's coming out of the chest. Right, but I will show you, as I say, it does make a difference when you've got the extra layers on, but there is the extra layer on the lid anyway. Right, so we'll put that to one side, so that's ready to go on the plaque. So now we've just got these 2 to paint up. So we've got our pirates. So the flesh colour can stay as it is. If you think, well, he looks a bit clean, that's considering he's been on a boat for months, then you can just go over with a little bit of brown mud effect. You're looking a bit. Yeah, that'll do. And then I'm going to paint. So his legs are just, you know, he's got short trousers on, to put a bit of mucky mud on his legs. So his trousers, I'm going for sort of dark browns. This is the ginger. Let me lift the lid up and tell you what it is. Oh, no, it's not. It's rust. So, but that's okay. We'll do with the rust. I'm painting on there. Okay. So we've got a good covering on that. And then we'll go for maybe, I won't put blue because it's going to be it might be a blue background, I'm not quite sure. I'll do a green cummerbund, whatever, belt. But you can see, you can paint over, although I've got a brown there, background, a brownish, it is still easy to paint over. We'll give him some ordinary brown shoes. Give that. And if it goes on quite runny, that's even better because it runs into all the embossed lines on there, so that shows up nice. And we'll give him a red bandana. Right, so, and then you can have a silver beard, so make it smaller. Trousers, please. This is on the trousers. It is rust. I think that one is by. Hang on, let's have a look. Rainbow. But any rust, you can use any rust. It doesn't have to be by that particular company, you know. All right, I'm just going to put a little bit of silver on there. It doesn't have to be a grey beard, but they've all been at sea for such a long time. Right, so this bit here is going to get painted. It's got a bit of pink on that. Right, and then a little bit more alcohol. It does dry out, as you know, dries really quickly. And then, I mean, if he's been fighting, he's not going to have a very clean sword, so you can just put a little bit of red. Be a bit gruesome. A bit of red on the end of his sword. And maybe brown for the handle, or black. I've got brown here, so we'll do brown. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the brush just to touch the fingers there, just to go around that bit, a little bit on the ribs, just taking it a little bit of darker, just following all the lines really, you know, the what would be his 6-pack there. It looks like a 2.5 pack at the moment, so it needs to be on a fitness regime. Right, I'll get a bit more red on there. You can always, when it's dried, you can always go over with a dry dust on that red, and that will really make it stand out. And then we'll just do a touch of brown in the eye. That'll do. Just round his fingers a bit more, just to make them stand out. I think I might have got a little bit of paste there that I should have removed. Let me just have a look. He's got a little bit of a weird thing going on there. Let me just take that away. There, that's it, that's better. And then I'll just put this around there. I think that could be in black. Tell you what, I've got black out, haven't I? So I'll do it in black. Okay, that'll do fine. Right, so that's that one done. And then we'll do this one. Just turn that round a bit. So he will look far more smart. Now, if I can get this into view without, I'll take that one. Tell you what, I'm going to move. Oh, that's it. Right, so I'm going to do this one. So we'll put him in. He won't have brown trousers, will he? He'll be, well, maybe he will. I don't know. I will go with that colour again. No, I'll go with this one, which I think is, let me have a look, Spiced Ginger. That's a nice one. So he can have Spiced Ginger pants. Okay. I'm just going to take some of that colour off the brush. Better. And there, and on that side of his sword. Right. Then we'll do iced. Hang on, is this coffee or toffee? Let me have a look. Oh, Magnolia Pearls, that's not pink. I would go with an iced toffee or coffee on that, much the same. So he's got nice, he's the captain, so he's got nice boots on. And then I'll do a mustard shirt. So where's my mustard? There it is. Do a nice wash on that. It doesn't take long. Once you get into it, it doesn't take that long at all. And I haven't done the extra layers on these, so that's fine. I'll do a smaller brush for a silver beard. They've all gone grey. Must have been a traumatic trip, this one. Right, do a little bit of brown. You can have brown hair. I won't do black because he's going to have a black hat, isn't he? I'll just do brown on there. Silver for his sword. So silver around there, silver down there. Just take your time doing it a bit. Okay. Then I think I'll do a nice, I will do a blue. Oh, I still don't know how to do blue. Yeah, I'll go with blue. Just going by the colours I've got out. With the brush. Now if it's a bit watery, just add more dust colour to it. If you're doing it with cocoa painting, then obviously you'll be following what Tracy does with her cocoa painting. She's on tomorrow, by the way. And then I think I'll do the gloves the same as the boots, so it would be like a nice soft leather. Seems he's the captain. Okay, and then get some black. And I'll just do this part here. I'll go around that. Okay. Probably the handle of the gun. I'll do that in black as well. Now I think I've got an extra bit there as well. Don't think I need that bit. I'm just going to cut that off. Okay, so that goes his hands round that, and then the black on there. I'll do the other bit silver in a minute. He's going to have a black eye patch on there. You have his other eye. And then you paint his hat. So I'm just going to use a smaller brush so that I can get in and around. Like so. Now when you're painting any of these, remember to go over the outside edge, you know, this line here. Don't just do the top, because when you place it on the plaque or on the cake, you will see the colour underneath, and what you want to is just to have the solid colour. So just always run that round the trousers, you know, run the same colour but round the trousers. Let's see, nearly there now. That would go around so, like so. And it does look messy when you've got them on these boards and you think, oh gosh, that doesn't look very exciting. But as soon as you take it off the board, it just looks nice and neat, we hope. Right, so nearly there. Just get that bit done, that bit done, that bit done, and so it's just the white in the centre. So I've just got the super white, the Sugar Flare super white, and hopefully a clean brush. Otherwise it'll be a grey, let me think, grey skull and crossbones. Wayne, do you know what? I haven't got a parrot for his shoulder now. What was I thinking? Right, so you've all got to make a parrot. Now, when you make one of these, send me a picture with the parrot on his shoulder. Never give it a thought, actually. That's a good idea. Right, the black needs to set before you do the white bit because it is starting to go a bit grey, but just leave it, or when it's dry I can go over that. Do you know what, I think he would have had, I'm going to change this blue here for his what do we call it, a cummerbund, is it? The belt. I think he'd have had a really nice smart red one, so I'm going to go over that with the red. He's not going to have a wishy-washy blue. And I'll just go over that bit again with the top of the pants there. Just get a bit of shading around that. But I think that will do. Just got a bit of a brown on there, so I can just very watery, just to go over the lines that are embossed. And turn that round. You're going to get that. Okay, I think we've got everything painted. So now I'm just going to show you about doing the background. So it's really quick. Okay, so we've got those on there. It looks really messy, but it'll be fine in a minute. So on here, I've already done this part, just to, you don't need to see me keep icing things. But what you would do, on a plaque, you would do exactly what I've done here. So we've got the blue, which is going to be sort of sky and sea, and we've got sand. Now, if you're going to do this on the side of a cake, your board would be iced yellow, and then you'd have a band of yellow, you'll see it after, a band of yellow at the bottom of your cake, and a band of blue above it. And then I just texture that a bit with my pot brush. So I've done that bit already. And also, then you would get your Dresden tool. Where's my tools gone? Over there. No. Right. And just with your sharp end of your Dresden tool, I've just gone like this and made some nice little wavy lines, because that's just going to be painted white in a minute. Okay, so let's move all this out of the way. And I'm just going to, if I think the top part is sky and the middle bit is sea, okay, so I'm going to get my big, I've got a great big brush there, so let me just take this out to here. Right, so I'm going to get some blue on my very big brush, and I'm just going to go across the top where the sky will be. If there's a lot on there, I'll just go over with a bit of white, but you could use white satin just to blend that in so it looks like a bit like clouds. Okay, then I'll use this brush, change my water, and then with the white, just going to need to get the blue out of that. Going to put some white in there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Not on that. Not in that way. I'm not. Right. Let's try again. Just going to rinse that in some clean water. Hopefully. Right, so this would be the sea, so I'm just putting some ripples in here. I mean, if you don't want that much sky, just rub it out a little bit, that's fine. So I'm just putting some sea, and then all along where I marked it, yeah, I'm just putting some little breakers along there. Most of it's going to be covered anyway. Right, so we've got sky, sea, sand. Now for the sand, if you rub a little bit of Trex on there, I'm going to use something called Sugar Tex. So I'm just going to move all these colours out of the way for a minute. So this is Sugar Tex. It's by Sugar Flare. You could use ground rice or, you know, semolina with colour added to it. But these aren't expensive, these little pots. You do white and brown. I don't know if they do any other colours, but it just gives it a really nice sand effect. So if you've got Trex on there, it will catch. All right. So we've now got our background, yeah? So this bit is just literally putting everything together now. Move this out of the way, move that out of the way. So I'm going to do some little trees. I've got brown paste already coloured here. So I'm just going to, I'll put that there. Just going to roll this brown into some sausages. Now, depending on where you want, how far you want your tree up the side, that'll do for me. So you get your dressing tool, sharp end of your dressing tool, and I'm just going to mark that round. And then back the other way. So you're just making a double line on there. You don't want it too perfect. Aren't you glad? The sausage. You just want it like that. And then I'm going to just run. I'll do mine here with a bit of a bend in it. Okay, so that can go like so. I'm going to take that off the top and put one the other side as well. Okay, so maybe a little bit more. You could do a couple of trees. You could do a shorter stem there, and have, you know, which I have done on the cake, the side of the cake, which I will show you in a sec. So roll that out, and then with your dressing tool again, just mark on some little lines on there. Make it a bit bendy. Water, where are you going to put that? Put that on there. Again, you don't have to have it straight, you can have it at a slight angle. Okay, so then I'm going to just flatten the ends there a little bit. Just moisten that. So with the leaves, the tops of the trees that I cut out earlier, so I'm going to put that one on there, and I'll put that one on there. Okay, so as I say, you know, if you've got a long cake, you could have a shorter one, or you can have them all piled at the bottom like a bush, which I have got on the cake I'm going to show you. Right, so whoops, let's see. So you take a small piece of the paste, roll it into a sausage, and then that one, just moisten that there, moisten that there, and then if these are, you know, they might break, but hopefully they won't. Let's just go in that one. It hasn't really had a long time to, no, it hasn't had a long time to dry. A bit more water on. I might even make a bit of a groove on there for it to sit in. That would be better. Okay, and then, oh, just that doesn't want to stick, that one, does it? Take that out. Right, yeah, that should have had more time. That's all right. We won't panic. And then that one, then a little bit more water on there, on there, on there, and then the half one can go in there like that. So it will just support it until it stays up. But you can see what I'm doing there. So you're building up. Turn it around that way. You're building up your tree. I'm saying I'm not going to fiddle around with this, but that's exactly what I'm doing, isn't it? Right. Let me just turn this round. I'll put a little ball of paste in there, and that can rest on there then. Right, stop. Just going to put a ball on there. It's one of those that you think, walk away. That'll do. Right, so it needs another little something in the middle there. So the next thing I'm going to put on is the boat. So this is quite easy to handle now. It's been sitting there for an hour. Was it the first one I did? So you can moisten the back, or you can just moisten where you think that's going to sit. Now let's see. We've got to leave space for the flags, so we'll put that there. And then we'll put a flag on there. Much easier to put the flags on separate. And a little flag on there. Okay, so if I turn that, you can see the blue, slightly different shade, but the blue between the sails, it doesn't look odd now because you've got your blue background. Yeah. And then I'm going to I'll put the boss on first. Now I'm not going to sort of stand him on the shoreline. He's going down here, so you can moisten. You can leave, if it's going on a flat plaque, you can leave it to dry before you attach him on there. And he's just shooting the ship. Move his gun. Right. So he could go there. I'll just lift that up a little to pop some water underneath. And that will hold it in place. Right, like that. And then this one, I'm going to put this this one on now. Just, oh, they are. Now you see that one has his little sleeve came off then with me moving it about. So just pop it back on. If nobody's even going to notice, are they, that parted company. So this one I'm just going to put here. And what I've done with the cake, which I'm going to show you right now, is, let's get him on. So he's having a fight. So that's the one I've done today. He shot the parrot that flew away. Do you know, I'm dying to draw a parrot now, but I'm not going to. So that's if it's going on a plaque. But this is the cake that I've done. So you can see that if you were going to do it on the side of a cake, I'll bring it over now. All right, do you know what I haven't put on? The treasure chest. That's the whole point. Let me lift this up. Put some water on there. Oh, I hope I can fit it in. He's guarding his treasure. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so we've got the treasure chest on there as well. So if you, so the picture that you get with the cutters, that's all on the top. It's a 10-inch cake and that's all on the top. But I've done the cake here with it on the side to show you. So I'll just move that out of shot. I'll bring this one. Oh, my rolling pin. I thought I wasn't showing you the cake then. I thought it had gone. Okay. So you can see that we've got the extra layers on the trees. Let me move all this out of the way. And what I've done, I've just cut up a few jellies. You see the extra layer of the treasure that's in the chest. But then I've just cut up some jellies to put on there. So that could be a tray, or it could be quite a few and the kids could pick at that. But that's exactly the same as I've done. I've done 2 trees on there. And then here I've done the same, but as a bush. So he's chopping somebody up in the bush. Very traumatic for the kids. Now, I've set the cake at the back of the board. So that would give me space to write the name on there and the age if you didn't want to put it on the top. Okay, right, that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it's given you lots of ideas, especially for a parrot. I can't wait to see everybody's parrots. I'll paint one in after and I'll show you next time. I am in next week, don't know when. We've got a really busy week. I've got a training day and our demonstration day, of course, at the Mouse. And as I say, if you're interested in the demonstrations or coffee mornings that are coming up,
book early because they will go. They are flying out. So, yeah, look forward to seeing you next time. I'll let you know when I am in next week. We might even have something new to show you. Who knows? But yeah, and I haven't forgotten the vintage car. I will put that on the list. Okay, so thanks a lot. Have a lovely week. And don't forget Tracy's on tomorrow, 11:30 I think. So we've got 2 of us this week. See you soon. Bye.